Dr. Aukot, the president is on record as saying this that has been quoted a number of times, munataka nifanye nini? But what preceded that statement was that he said the law in some ways restricts him from doing certain things. For example, he cannot fire the Auditor General if he's unhappy with his work, or the DPP, or the commissioners at the EACC directly. Is there a way that this law that you helped to draft restricts the powers of the presidency in terms of the fight on corruption?
By the way, just for the record, Yvonne, you are yet to give me an extra 1 minute like you've given to my colleagues so that I can also respond to the question. Now,
perhaps you're a little clearer, sir.
No, okay. Be that as it may, just for the record, so that people know you've given them an advantage over 3 minutes. Now, first of all, we don't call it corruption. I want to ask the audience here, who in their mother tongues actually can identify the word corruption? What is there in our various mother tongues is theft of public money. And the people who are stealing money meant for development of this country, the education, the health sector, are actually our leaders. I gave you earlier on an example of the 47 counties of Kenya. 25 aligned to NASA, 22 aligned to Jubilee. They have all stolen money in equal measure. And this is not a Kuru court saying it, it's the Auditor General report. Every year in this country, we steal 700 billion Kenya shillings. The corporates do not account for 700 billion. That's about 1.4 trillion Kenya shillings that we actually lose to theft of public money. Now, at the heart of that theft is actually the leadership of this country. So solutions that Third Way is proposing is that Kenyans must be courageous enough to remove the cancerous tumor, which is bad leadership that orchestrated theft of public money. I mean, if you look at the 22 departments under the Jubilee administration, all of them cannot account for money that is meant, like including 5 billion health sector, NYS saga, Golden Bank, 215 Eurobond. This is a factor of leadership. A leadership that could say, I am not going to tolerate theft of public money, especially if you work under me. Now, Third Way Alliance has various proposals, and because of time, I would like all of you, because you seem like to have smartphones here, go to ekurunzai.com. You can actually download what we call our promise for Kenyans. And you will see therein, we have made propositions, including jailing people, establishing actually the Hall of Shame. I think we need to, just like Chinese do. They put all their public servants and they go and visit prisons. I think we need to go a step further in this country, and which is why for us at Third Way Alliance, we are calling it theft of public money, not corruption.
So here's your 1 minute for rebuttal.
Thank you very much.
Back to my question. Do you think there are any weak points in the laws that exist in the country? Is EACC, as is presently constituted, and the laws that give it the mandate to do its work, is it properly constituted under law to enable it fight corruption effectively?
The problem in this country, Yvonne, is not laws. It's not even policies, not even institutions. It's actually a question of leadership. The number one weapon you need in fighting corruption is actually political goodwill. If you do not have political goodwill at the very top, if you have a president who throws hands in the air and says, what would you like me to do? Then therein, the thieves will creep in. Because if a government is responsible for corruption, you know what? Kenyans need to think about the history of corruption in this country. It started in 1963 when land meant for the homeless, the IDPs was actually stolen by the leadership. 1975, the Kendrick fertilizer, again, it's a factor of leadership. We are still paying for that money up until now. So really, the laws are there, and that's why we at Third Way Alliance have demystified this word corruption and call it theft. Because then you punish a thief. If today you take away Mamulika Mwizi on the streets of Nairobi, the penalty is that actually it's robbery with violence. That's the charge. And I could hang by the neck until I die. But with corruption, we sanitize it.
All right, Dr. Kaluyu, he's talking about calling it theft as it is. But what's your understanding of why corruption seems so difficult to root out of this country? What is wrong with the war on corruption? Transparency International has consistently named the Kenya Police as one of the most corrupt institutions in the country. I mean, there's a number of indices across the world that continue to put us on that, and not just with this administration, but with previous ones before it. What is your understanding of this cancer that is corruption? And what specific thing would you do to end it, to reduce it, to bring it under control?
And some of them usually rank us about number 3 in the world in terms of corruption. That is very high ranking. Corruption is real. It's living, it's breathing. Corruption does not have to be all money. There can be someone bumping out someone else's kid that has been qualified well to go to university. They don't get the opportunity, and they do not go to university, while someone who's less qualified goes to university. Others could be from medicine, from just systems and things. So corruption has to be approached in a very realistic way. I am independent. It cannot be approached. What is lacking in our corruption fight is the lack of will. We have the Constitution. Every single law has been detailed and has been pointed out how it is to be dealt with. You steal, you go to jail. You are caught with public coffers. That's why this chapter of integrity. The problem we have is the will to do it. Over the time, politicians usually get the political baggage. You get people financing you, interest groups, and once you get to the office, you are told you look that way, and if you look this way, we are trying to recover our money. I am an independent candidate. I am uncompromised. I'm not part of the system, not a career politician, do not belong to cartels or interest groups. I only pledge my loyalty, I confess, to only one group of people here, the Kenyan people. The people I will be thinking about when I go to sleep in that State House, and the people I will be thinking about when I wake up from that State House. So we are talking of those who can actually fight the corruption. Nairobi has become the place where good ideas come to die. There are no more new ideas just to enforce it. I have the will. I am the right person to do it. You can trust me. There will be no more.
1 minute. You sound exactly like Dr. Aukot. So for a lot of viewers who are watching, for the 19+ million voters, they would like to know what would be markedly different about your war on corruption from Dr. Aukot's, from Professor Wainaina's, and from the other 5 candidates that are in this race. In other words, what is that one thing that then makes you stand out from everybody else? Because we're starting to agree quite a little bit. So the voters say, well, you're all good, you all agree, so why vote for you over your fellow opponents?
And first of all, thank you so much for that. And Ms. Okwara, there's nothing wrong with agreeing with certain points. When things are good and he has a point that makes sense, I'm not here to penalize him. I'm not the kind of opposition, everything the person is doing, the other person is doing is wrong. That's not how to lead. If Mr. Aukot gets to do the right thing, I say it is good. When Professor Wainaina does it, I will congratulate him. I'm here to lead. So here, what is unique about me, I'm not part of the system. I've never been part of the system.
Have they been part of the system?
It's up to you to judge. The Kenyan people are smart who has been around or not. So I can talk for myself. If I have been away from, I'm not a career politician. So I've never written any documents around to guide it or anything else. I believe I'm the right candidate who is a fresh start, who can come in without political baggage, and who has never been part of the system and not a career politician. With that, I'm able to eradicate corruption once and for all. I can promise I will be the end of corruption. And if you give me the opportunity to be your commander-in-chief, you can trust. It will take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and this will be over.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Your time is up. Professor, so he has no baggage, no politics. How different would it be under you? I'm not asking if you think you're better, although if you think you are, please feel free to say so. But what uniqueness would you bring to this conversation and to this particular topic that is, quite pertinent?
I don't know about a war on corruption. This country has never had a war on corruption. Yvonne, if you're looking to end corruption with the tribalists in Jubilee and NASA, I have bad news for you. It's not going to happen. My father uses a very interesting phrase. Komeshaliana omerete, unatafuta mbuzi yako na yule mwenye alikula. Anaenda kukusaidia kutafuta. Na yeye ndiye aliiba na akakula. Yvonne, wenye walikula mbuzi yetu, hiyo Dr. Ekuru amesema inaitwa Kenren, ndio tunaitafuta na wao. Kuna mbuzi ilikuwa inaitwa Goldenberg. Tunatafuta mbuzi na wale walikula. Kuna mbuzi inaitwa Anglo Leasing. tunaitafuta na wale walikula. Kuna mbuzi inaitwa kazi kwa vijana. Hata kuna ingine ilikuwa inaitwa Japan Embassy, if you remember. Ile mbuzi imepotea recently, inaitwa NYS. Tunaitafuta na wenye waliikula. Hautaipata. Ana haiwezi kupatikana. Na ile shida iko kwa EACC. Unajua ile mlango ya EACC inazungukanga. Imezunguka miaka ngapi? Miaka 20, na wale watu wenye walikula mbuzi yetu ndio wanaitafuta. Yvonne, the final arbiter on the issue of fighting corruption is the people of Kenya on 8th of August 2017. If they insist on re-electing tribalists and thieves, then we cannot fight corruption. Sababu tunatafuta mbuzi yetu na wenye waliikula. Sasa mimi Yvonne sijakula mbuzi, kwa hivyo nikiingia pale mbuzi yenu mtaipata.
Na ukikula je, ukiingia uko ndani?
Pale ndio ninasema wale watu ambao wako supposed kuangalia mbuzi yao ni wana Kenya. Na mtu akiingia pale akikula mbuzi, ni kazi ya wana Kenya kusema wewe ulikula mbuzi yetu, ondoka. Sasa jamaa wamekula mbuzi zetu miaka 54 na tunaendelea kusema huyu ni jamaa wetu, huyu ni jamaa wetu.
I want to give you 1 minute.
Jimmy.
Because
Again.
I am still not, don't worry. Like I said, clarity. Yeah? I give you a minute.
I'm counting.
I'm coming to you. I'll give you an extra minute. I'm still not clear about your war on corruption. Fine, remove the thieves and the corrupt people as you call them.
Yes.
So who's to guarantee you won't be a thief? What would happen if in your ranks you find persons accused of corruption? We've stated the problem, Professor, but from you, I'm not sure we're clear about what the solution would be under your watch.
I've told you what the solution is. And I don't have any other solution. The people of Kenya, Yvonne, must pronounce themselves on the unholy trinity of tribalism, impunity, and corruption. That is a trinity, but it is an unholy one. The only way to solve this problem once and for all, so that we can start to re-engineer a new psyche, to re-engineer a new republic, Yvonne, is to get rid ya wale watu walikula mbuzi yetu. Na ndio ninasema 8th of August is a turning point in this country. Do people want new? Do people want same old?
What is new?
Possibilities of new are standing in front of you, and I am one of that possibilities. Possibility of new, possibility of different, possibility of clean do not exist in us and Jubilee.
I want to give you 1 minute, Dr. Okot, because he's talking about the unholy trinity, and you all seem to be united. We'll come to you, Dr. You all seem to be united in saying this administration has a problem. So if they are the unholy trinity, Dr. Okot, are the three of you standing here the holy trinity? You seem to agree that we remove the ones who are in power now, and you seem to agree on quite a lot. So why not come together? Is that a possibility for you in a minute?
We wouldn't be standing here, Yvonne, to present ourselves. We don't want to be elected as either of the presidency. I think for me what will set us apart, as I said earlier, is what we have all documented and promised to give to Kenyans. Again, I'll go refer back to our manifesto, what we call our promise. You will find in our manifesto that we are proposing that some of the solutions to ending corruption is to use audit reports as a first piece of evidence. And I can promise Kenyans that as a lawyer, a prosecutor, as a trial lawyer, this is one piece of evidence that has not been used. Number two, capping of government pricing is a big issue in procurement processes in this country. We are proposing to establish a department that will deal exactly with that. We are also proposing to surcharge thieving, government officials or officials elected by the people of Kenya. These are concrete solutions that Kenyans can actually use. And we are also suggesting progress reports on corruption cases. This doesn't happen in Kenya. A report is filed in court. Somebody dies even before they answer questions.
All right, thank you. I want us to move very quickly to, because we're going to take a commercial break in just a moment. But let's talk about education. That's a big one. We're currently the midst of a curriculum reform. Dr. Okot, your manifesto says you want to enforce 100% primary to secondary transition. What are the attrition rates at the moment? The attrition rates at the moment? What are the causes, and how would you ensure